Great. Thank you everyone so much for joining our September information session for the Open Avenues Global Talent Fellowship Program. We always have a mix of folks who join these information sessions. We might have some attorneys on the call trying to figure out a new cap exempt H-1B visa solution for clients, some company representatives looking to retain foreign talent, and mostly we typically have foreign nationals looking for solutions for themselves. So we'll walk through the cap exempt H-1B, all about the cap exempt H-1B visa solution that Open Avenues provides through the Global Talent Fellowship Program. And then we'll open it up to questions about the process, what this looks like for you, and we will hopefully get all of your questions answered. And if you want to have a follow-up session after this, I do have an opportunity to meet with companies. I don't typically meet with foreign nationals one-on-one after this, but that is why we have these information sessions. It's to get your questions answered, and we leave plenty of time for that at the end. So we will get rolling. This is the Open Avenues team. So I am the co-founder and executive director of Open Avenues Foundation. I co-founded with Jeff Goldman. You'll notice we have the same last name because he is my father. I grew up with an immigration attorney as a parent, and you can imagine that by the age of 10, I knew everything there was to know about H-1Bs and O-1s and L-1s because it was the topic of my dinner table every night. So immigration is something that's been close to my heart for a long time. It's why Jeff and I started Open Avenues to really create pathways for global talent to thrive in the United States and demonstrate that foreign nationals don't take jobs away from Americans, but are really contributing to the fabric of our society. And we are joined by Elena Simico, who is the director of our education programming, Erin Carlini, who is now immigration program manager, and she would be the one interacting with you on the process of getting into the fellowship program, and Rua Hamid, who is our STEM education coordinator, because we run awesome programming with our university partners that the fellows that's driven by our foreign national talent in our organization. And we'll talk through that model in a bit. But everything that we do at Open Avenues is to demonstrate that diverse global talent can catalyze positive outcomes for the US society and our communities here. And our Global Talent Fellowship program that we are running through today and talking about was built to open pathways for foreign talent to come to the United States, to stay in the United States, and to actually train the future US workforce in a variety of STEM and business fields. So that is the purpose of our organization. That is why we do what we do. And the other reason we do what we do is because of the crazy H-1B visa challenge that our nation is faced with and companies are struggling with because of how restrictive the process is, and foreign nationals who many times have invested a lot into going to school in the United States, maybe starting a company in the United States, are put into a random lottery system, which each year selects 85,000 H-1B candidates to have their petitions reviewed. Most of you on the call are going to be familiar with this visa lottery and the H-1B, which is the most common work visa in the United States. To be qualified for an H-1B is the same as qualifying for a cap exempt H-1B. You have to have at least a bachelor's degree in a specialty field as determined by the Department of Labor. So what are some specialty fields? It could include software development, data science. It could be a financial analyst. There are a wide variety. There are hundreds of specialty occupations. The key with an H-1B is demonstrating that you have the degree and the training and education that has prepared you to do the job in this specialty field. And in all of the petitions that we do at Open Avenues and all of the petitions that the companies do, They have to demonstrate the link between the degree and the work you're doing for the company. And we get this question all the time, but the certificate programs or work experience are not considered in the evaluation that USCIS does as they look at someone's eligibility for an H-1B. But nonetheless, many folks are qualified for an H-1B because there were 483,972 registrants into the 2022 lottery that happened in March this past year, and were, only 126,000 individuals were actually selected in that lottery. Now, I said the cap was 85,000, so this is a little confusing, but USCIS overdrew out of the pool of individuals because they adjust for the numbers that might not actually take their slot. Some people don't end up sending in the application. Others get another type of visa and they don't take that their place in the lottery. Some people have multiple registrations in the lottery from different companies. And so that is why they select each year more than the 85,000 to meet that cap of 85,000. Some of you on the call might have anticipated that there would be a second lottery like there have been in the past years to meet the 85,000. This year, out of the 126,000 registrants, they did meet the 85,000 cap. So there was no need for a second lottery. And we don't know what next year is going to look like, but it's based on this year, it's smart not to anticipate that there will be a second lottery. It's more of, if it happens, that's exciting and nice, but it's not something we can expect to happen. So there was a 26% chance of getting selected in last year's lottery. If trends continue, which they may not, given the economic conditions right now, they may stay stagnant at, around 450,000 registrants in 2023 in March, or it could increase because there's a reality that in STEM fields, companies are still hiring and investing in talent. So we will see how that goes. But nonetheless, there's still this challenge where there are individuals who need a visa solution outside of the lottery cycle, either because they're coming from outside the United States and want to enter immediately, or because they've lost the lottery and their visa is expiring before the next year's lottery. And for those individuals, a cap exempt H-1B visa is a good solution. So what is a cap exempt H-1B visa? There is no subject to the annual lottery cap of 85,000. You can submit a cap exempt H-1B at any time of year. They can be filed and approved at any time. With premium processing, they can be approved within 15 days of filing. And they have the same qualifications as an H-1B. We talked about that. You must be employed, you must have a specialty occupation. If this is your own company that you want to sponsor yourself as a founder for an H-1B, ask questions to me at the end, and we can talk through some of those qualifications that your organization has to have to sponsor you. Who can sponsor a cap exempt H-1B? It has to be a cap exempt organization. In the United States, Congress has deemed that 4 types of organizations are exempt from the lottery cap of 85, from the lottery and the cap of 85,000. And these 4 types of cap exempt organizations are universities, government research institutions, nonprofit or research organizations or institutions, and nonprofits affiliated with the university. Open Avenues Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit that is affiliated with 10 partner colleges and universities in the United States. Our colleges and universities that we've built relationships with are all across the country. There are some in California, in Florida, in Tennessee, in Illinois, and in Massachusetts, and now in New York. And that it doesn't, all of our programming is run remotely, but it means that we are now nationally impacting and offering programming to individuals and students across the country, which is really exciting for us. We started in 2018 with one college partner in Boston, where we were located for 4 years. And now we're at 10 because these colleges and universities are seeing the value in the programming that we bring. And as we grow the program, we continue to build out these partnerships. Oops. So it's awesome that Open Avenues Foundation can sponsor our employees for CAP exempt H-1Bs. We can sponsor anyone for a CAP exempt H-1B because we're a CAP exempt organization. But how does this benefit your full-time employer that wants to keep you, or your company that's trying to keep a foreign national? Concurrent employment is possible on a CAP exempt H-1B. And this means that once a foreign national is in CAP exempt H-1B status with a CAP exempt organization like Open Avenues or like a university or a government research institution, perhaps for part-time work, like Open Avenues program is, then any US employer that is not CAP exempt themselves is then eligible to file a concurrent CAP exempt H-1B petition for that foreign national. So for Open Avenues, we run this fellowship and we hire foreign talent to work for Open Avenues, and we're able to sponsor CAP exempt H-1B work visas for our fellows for part-time work. That opens the door for any of their companies to then concurrently sponsor them for a CAP exempt H-1B visa for full time. And that's how we run our fellowship program. So we hire top foreign talent in a variety of STEM and business fields. For example, and this is not an inclusive list, but these are some of the fields that we hire fellows in. We hire fellows in software development, data science, biotech fields, and also in business fields. So finance, market research, we've done operations research, and we hire our fellows to train US students from our partner schools. This is all working towards our mission, because if you remember my first slide, we said that our goal is to have foreign talent demonstrate that they can create jobs and opportunities for Americans when they stay in the United States. So our fellows work for 5 hours per week, creating those career opportunities for US students. And because our fellows work for Open Avenues for 5 hours per week, it means that we are able to sponsor these fellows as employees of Open Avenues for a CAP exempt H-1B work visa. And then the fellows companies are able to immediately file a CAP exempt H-1B work visa as well. So let's talk about what the fellows do in the program for those 5 hours per week. We talked about creating career development opportunities, but that actually looks like micro internships, in-class projects, and providing panels and workshops to our university partners. So for 5 hours per week, our fellows scope and launch real-world industry-driven projects that students apply for and sign up for throughout the year. There's micro internships that launch in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. And Open Avenues actually pays students to participate and complete these projects that are led by our fellows. So our fellows are working during those 5 hours remotely on Zoom to be project leaders, to manage a group of students and take them through the project from beginning to end. Now, this is probably going to mean 1 to 2 hours a week will be in front of students, and the remainder of the week is preparing to work with the students, answering questions to students on email, and then interacting with Open Avenues and attending some of our team meetings. We obviously launch projects for 5 to 8 weeks, 3 times a year. So there's downtime. And during that downtime, we have our fellows launch workshops in your industry, participate in industry panels to give students an idea of what it's like to work in the industry. And in conclusion, we're reaching hundreds of students per year, all driven by foreign nationals with programming. And it's very, very exciting work. So who's eligible for the Global Talent Fellowship Program? You have to have at least a bachelor's degree in a STEM or business related field. We talked about this on the slide about H-1Bs, but it doesn't count if you have a certificate in a field. An associate's degree is not included here. You have to have a bachelor's degree. It can be from a foreign institution. It does not need to be from a US university. We're looking for individuals who have at least 2 years of work experience, and your OPT time is included in that. We want to put in front of students individuals who have industry experience, who can speak to what it's like to actually work for a company in a field, and provide some of that insight and knowledge to students. And we're looking for individuals who might have experience mentoring or working with students, perhaps managing peers. All of that shows us that if we put you in front of students, that you will successfully be able to lead a project. And then you must have this is very, very important. You cannot apply for the fellowship program on your own. You must have a company nominate you for the program. We contract with your employer or with an employer that wants to keep a foreign national employee to support the program. And they are responsible for the financial component of the program. And we'll go through that in a moment, but you have to have a job or an offer from a US employer that is related to your field of study. So if you studied English and you want to go work as a software developer, that's going to be a tough specialty occupation to prove. We need to see that you have a degree that's related to software if you're going to work as a software developer for the company. And this US employer must be willing to sponsor your work visa, because after you're in the CAP exempt visa with Open Avenues, we talked about how immediately your company can file their own CAP exempt H-1B work visa. So they have to be willing to file that concurrent petition. So for the application and evaluation process, the first step is an employer nominates an employee for the program, a foreign national. So we get nominations in a few ways. Most common is on email. I get reached out to by companies that are nominating an employee via email. We like everybody to actually fill out the nomination form on our website. That's how we need to have an introductory call. So that's the first step. If you are a foreign national on this call and you want an employer to nominate you, we'll send information that you can give them. They can fill out that form and we'll immediately reach out within a week or within a week and a half to your employer that fills out that form. And we will schedule an introductory call where I will walk them through the program. We then, that is the consultation. So we will schedule the consultation with both the employer and the foreign national who's been nominated for the program. And we'll talk through the qualifications and the pricing and the timeline, and we'll figure out how this could work for the company. And if we decide to move forward, we do an evaluation with our law firm on specialty occupation to see if you're qualified for an H-1B. And we do a screening call, which is an interview with Erin, our immigration program court manager, who will look in to make sure that you are a good fit for the program. So the company financial commitment, every company that nominates a fellow is responsible for the fees that Open Avenues charges for the program. There's an initiation fee of $16,000 that's due upon contracting. That includes the legal fees for the cap exempt H-1B, the government filing fees, and the premium processing to get a response from USCIS in 15 days. It also allows us to work on project scoping and getting the fellowship set up with our university partners. The program dues begin when an individual is approved for the cap exempt H-1B and starts in the fellowship program. So these are invoiced at the beginning of each quarter for as long as someone's in the program for. Everybody is in the program for a different amount of time because people start in the program when they need a visa solution, but they will enter into the next lottery and see if they win. So a company that partners with us will absolutely register that same individual into the lottery the following year to see if the individual can exit our program and get into regular H-1B status. We also see that many individuals have pending green cards and they get their EAD work authorization during their time in our program. And you can graduate from our program at any time as long as you've been in the program for at least 6 months. That's our minimum so that we can put on a strong educational opportunity for our university partners. The last piece of the contract is a salary share. This is not a fee, but it's a portion of the existing salary that a company offers to an employee. And this is also invoiced at the beginning of the quarter. So this is the company, if they're offering $100,000, they're still going to pay $100,000 in salary, but they're going to reduce that salary by the amount that Open Avenues needs to pay the fellow for their time working for Open Avenues. So let's say Open Avenues has to pay $10,000 in salary to meet the fair wage. We're actually going to take $10,000 out of the $100,000 the company offers. The company will pay the foreign national $90,000 directly, and on a quarterly basis, Open Avenues will invoice for that $10,000 and pay the foreign national through our payroll. So this is a mechanism so that both organizations are able to pay the fair wage for the work that the foreign national is doing without increasing the cost for the company. So to apply for the program, we talked about how companies can nominate a candidate on our website at www.openavenusfoundation.org/companies. If you go to the global talent page, foreign nationals can fill out the application form there. And what you'll get is more information about the program and a link to our handout that you can give to your employer so that they can nominate you. So I will stop there. That is everything from my end, and I will stop sharing my screen and we will open it up to questions. I'm happy to have you come on video and ask your question or on audio, and we'll get anything that you have answered that I didn't cover in the presentation or something about your specific situation.
Daniel, I have one quick question.
Sure.
So you said in the middle of the presentation that Open Avenue will file a CapEx and H-1B as well as my current organization. My current organization will file a CapEx and H-1B. How does that work? I didn't understand that portion.
Sure. Right. So this is about concurrent employment. So Open Avenues is able to sponsor all of our fellows in our program for a cap exempt H-1B work visa for 5 hours per week of employment. And fellows work for those 5 hours. And as soon as, for Open Avenues, we control that employment. We are the employer of anyone who works for those 5 hours as a fellow. However, as soon as someone is approved for a cap exempt H-1B visa with Open Avenues, it opens the door for any company to file their own cap exempt H-1B petition for full-time work. So we have 60 fellows in the program right now who are working 5 hours per week for Open Avenues on a cap exempt H-1B.
Mhm.
And all of them have an employer that has filed a full-time cap exempt H-1B. And I want to talk about the timeline that I realized I didn't talk through quite enough. It takes Open Avenues 6 to 8 weeks to put together a cap exempt H-1B petition and get it approved. On the day it's approved, we have to wait for the physical approval notice. But as soon as we receive that physical approval notice, your company is able to immediately file a cap exempt H-1B, and you can begin working for that company, your full-time employer, as soon as it's been filed. It doesn't even need to be approved. It just has to be filed for you to begin working for your concurrent full-time employer.
Okay, great. And just a follow-up question on this. Now, let's say my entire process finishes up by February 2023. Assume by February 2023 with Open Avenue, I have a cap exempt H-1B approved. And in the following March 2023 itself, I have been selected for my lottery.
Yep.
Can I pull my application back from Open Avenue, or do I have a 6 to 8 month commitment that you were talking about?
Right. Yeah. So if you win the lottery, but you are already in cap exempt H-1B status.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of people coming to us right now who have February or even March expirations of OPT,
Mhm.
January through March, right?
Okay.
And it's close to the lottery, but you can't quite make it. So
Yes.
you do need to get into cap exempt H-1B status
Mhm.
to not risk falling out of status.
Yes.
If you are in cap exempt H-1B status and you win the lottery in March,
Mhm.
you are not eligible for cap gap anymore. Cap gap is for people who are on OPT and win the lottery.
Yes.
And you are given an extension of your OPT until October 1st, when all the H-1Bs take effect.
Yeah.
You lose cap gap. You don't get it if you're not in OPT.
Okay.
So if you start in cap exempt H-1B and you win the lottery, you will be in the program until October 1st, when you transition into a regular H-1B.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Those are the two questions I had. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Great. Does anyone else have a question?
Hi, Daniel.
Oh,
Hi, Danielle. My name is Lastine. Good morning.
hi, Listine.
Hello. So based on your presentation earlier, I'm going back to what you've explained about the eligibility of your ideal candidates. So a little background about me is I'm not actually a STEM or a business. I don't exactly have a degree in either STEM or business. Actually, I am a teacher. And Open Avenues was introduced to me by a friend, so that's why I'm here. I wanted to ask if you had any experience of taking in candidates who are teachers.
What's your degree? It's a teaching degree?
Yes, teaching degree in special ed.
We have not done that at this point. If you were teaching in a STEM field, I could see considering that, but I don't know how we would apply the special ed focus to our fellowship at the moment.
I see. So
Yeah.
basically now it's only for STEM and business degree holders as of now.
Yeah, and I could see potentially doing this for teachers who are math teacher who could work with our students on, potentially tutoring some of our students and their subjects. But really, we're focused on connecting industry to students at our partner schools.
I
So
see.
it's about connecting the companies, the STEM companies and to students. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's really going to be room for us to do that, but you should definitely look into working for a university or another CAP exempt organization, because the same model I just discussed applies.
I see. Is it, with that said, if you have any suggestions for me, a non-STEM or non-business degree holder, that would be really great.
Yeah. So it's definitely more challenging, but I would say look for other types of CAP exempt organizations. There might be some, some organizations don't know they're CAP exempt. So you could find some other education nonprofits that are actually working with universities and they don't know, but they are a CAP exempt organization. They just have to sign a quick affiliation agreement, affiliation agreement with a university, but they might already be affiliated with the university. So I would look into some other organizations that are in the education nonprofit world and see if there's something you could do there.
Okay, that really helps. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, sure. I see a hand raised. Lynn, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. I think I saw Prashant asking a question, so I just want to make sure that he gets to ask the question first.
Okay, Prashant, I'm so sorry to cut you off before.
Oh.
You can hop in now, that's great.
Oh, no, you're fine. So hi, Daniel, I'm Prashant, and thank you, Lynn. So my first question is regarding like the one-time fees, which is like $16,000, which you said. So does my employer need to hire like another like a lawyer, to coordinate the meetings or, between Open Avenues Foundation, or is my HR team good enough to take care of this entire process?
Yeah, it's a great question. The companies will use a lawyer to file the concurrent petition.
Okay.
The price ranges for what that looks like, and every law firm is different in terms of what they charge on the concurrent visa. I know our law firm that we work with charges $4,000 for the concurrent H-1B that companies file once you get approved. So you're right, our 16,000, that's Open Avenues fees. That's our visa. That's how you get into our program. That covers our program costs, but it doesn't cover the company's costs for the full-time CAP exempt H-1B that they have to file.
Okay, got it. And my second question is regarding timeline. So my visa expires like in first week of July next year. So what would you recommend? Like, what would be the ideal time for me to reach out to you? Obviously, first I need to convince my company, to invest this money, right? Because it's coming from the employer. So, and I have my last chance like next year, which would be around like 1st of April. I think the H-1B results are out on 1st of April. So is that good enough window to file with you guys, like April, May, June? So
right. So that's a great question. The timing of this, I told you we could do it in 6 to 8 weeks.
yeah,
And that is true. If we start the lottery, if we started April 1st, we could do this by July, definitely, and we have. So you can wait until after the lottery. However,
okay,
there is a lot of anxiety that comes with waiting until after the lottery to have your company to, know if you have status or not. And it is stressful that your company may not have contracted with us already, because those processes sometimes can take time and we wouldn't have evaluated you yet. So we can't, you wouldn't even know if you're accepted. So all of that can create a lot of anxiety. So one of the things we're going to do this year, rather than have people wait until after the lottery, we're going to have individuals who have visa expiration dates from April through July, which are right after, it's that chunk right after the lottery, which is our busiest time. We're going to offer companies to do the evaluation and contracting process ahead of the lottery.
Mhm.
And essentially, we're going to charge $2,500 to do that. And you would, if you lose the lottery and you need to move forward, you just pay the remainder. So you'd pay that the $13,500 if you move forward with the lottery. And this provides companies with security of knowing if you lose the lottery, there's a spot for you in the program and you've already been accepted.
Perfect.
So-
And okay.
Yeah.
And this 2,500 would be part of that one-time fee, right?
Exactly. It's part of the fee that you'd pay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And my last question is, say worst case scenario, if my employer like lays me off, or if I want to like switch company, so how would the visa look like in that case?
Yes, good question. So think of cap exempt H-1B as like Open Avenues, and the cap is a cap exempt organization. So we're the baseline in terms of building blocks.
Mhm.
We're the baseline employment. You must remain employed by the cap exempt employer to build a block of another cap exempt employment on top of it. And you can't take away the cap exempt employer. So this is your baseline status with Open Avenues Foundation, and any other employer can sponsor the concurrent visa on top of it.
Okay.
So technically, if you are laid off or you leave a company, you can leave that employer and stack a different employer on top of the baseline of your cap exempt H-1B with Open Avenues Foundation. But that employer is going to have to contract with Open Avenues, which is not a simple process, right? You have to convince a company that
Yep.
they should pay the quarterly fees and that they should do the salary share, and that, I know, and that this is actually great for them because they don't
Mhm.
have to enter you into the lottery. You
Yeah,
already are in cap exempt H-1B status, but it's a new concept for a lot of companies. So you do have to spend the time with a new employer to float the idea, have them talk to me, have them talk to my team, and we can make that work. But you don't lose status in the United States right away
Okay.
if you're terminated by your company.
So I can still like stay in US lawfully. So as
Yeah.
okay.
We can't keep people in the program for an extended period of
Okay.
time without you having an employer. But we will do everything we can to keep you for as long as we can on
Okay.
an unpaid leave of absence or something like that while you wait to get another employer to sponsor you. So we'll keep you in the program and the fellowship until you hopefully find another employer, as long as it's a reasonable amount of time.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Daniel. I think you answered all my questions. Thank you.
Perfect. And Malek, Lynn, you're next, sorry.
You're good. So I would say have 3 questions, and apologies for joining late. I was just trying to wrap up a different meeting. But I heard from other people that there was a PowerPoint at the beginning of the meeting. Is that right?
Oh, yes, I'll send you the recording of the presentation. You can take a look through that. I'll send it to
Okay,
everybody.
awesome. Thank you so much. And then my second question is, since we have the 5-hour-a-week commitment with Open Avenue Foundation, I was wondering if that's going to be in person or virtual.
Yep, it's all virtual, and you'll hear much more about that when I send you the presentation.
Okay, awesome. And then my last question would be, with the CAP exam application, can I apply for that at any point during the year, or is that has to be around the time where the regular H-1B application also being submitted?
It's at any time of year. So we take on fellows for start dates usually on the 1st of the month, but all throughout the year.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll look forward to the recording. I'm sure that will
Perfect.
answer a lot more questions.
Yeah, it definitely will. All good. Thanks,
Thank
Lynn.
you so much.
Malek, you want to hop in?
Yeah. Hi, Danielle. This is Melek. And so my question is, I'm curious if I'm eligible because I already used up my 3-year STEM OPT, and I'm already in my country, Turkey. And I have a couple of candidates. I'm still working with the US clients in a contract base, and there are some requests from them if there's a way that they can just take me back in terms of, and I unfortunately know this in detail now. And I heard that as a H-1B, I can still apply for a lottery, even it's not a common thing, but still 3 more years, I think. I'm not really sure on that, but if I'm wondering if I can apply this with a new employer in the US.
You're saying that you had your OPT, correct? And that expired and then you moved back to Turkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're eligible for an H-1B, which is potentially 6 years of
Yeah.
employment-based green of a work visa.
Mhm.
So yes, you could have any of those companies sponsor you into the lottery in March, or if
Mhm.
you don't want to wait for the lottery, or it's a randomized system, which we talked about. So if you would prefer not to wait until the lottery and see if you lose, you could get, or if you win, get into cap exempt H-1B status, and they could partner with Open Avenues to go through this process with you and bring you over from Turkey.
Okay, so but I need to apply for an H-1B lottery first.
You don't need to apply for the H-1B lottery, but you can do both. You could, if you wanted to come, if you want to come as soon as possible before next October,
Yeah. Mhm.
then you could start the cap exempt H-1B at any time.
Okay.
And then you will enter the lottery as well in March
Okay.
to see if next October you can transition out of our program and
Mhm.
into regular H-1B status.
Okay, sounds good then. I'll check it out. That's good news enough for today.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Does anyone else have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question. Hi, Daniel, this is Ajit here. I'm pretty much in the same situation with Melek. She mentioned I completed my 3 years of OPT and I came back to my country. So again, a very basic question. I understand the scenario. So the employer who's going to sponsor me can be any employer, right? They don't have to be a cap, like the cap exempt employee only. So just in the meantime, I get on to a regular H-1B with my for-profit company until my H-1B gets approved there. My employer will partner with you until my regular the regular employer, like a regular H-1B visa, gets approved with them. Is that correct? Am I understanding it right?
So to get a regular H-1B or a cap subject H-1B in the US, you have to win the lottery.
That's correct.
So
Yes,
you
I get
can't
that.
just start the petition. Your company can't just start an H-1B petition unless you win that lottery. So the solution for folks is to have their company is to have your company partner with Open Avenues, and you can come to the United States on a cap exempt H-1B. This would allow your company, either way, your company can enter you into the lottery in March. You could stay in your home country and just have your company enter you into the lottery in March, but it's random. You're not sure you're going to win, right? And then you have to wait until next October 1st to enter into the US. That's a year from now. But if you want to come sooner than that, you can have your company partner with Open Avenues and we could file a cap exempt H-1B for you. You can come on a cap exempt H-1B, work for your company while it's not wait for your H-1B, but you would enter the lottery to see if you win in March. And then if you win, then starting on October 1st of 2023, you could exit our program, graduate from the fellowship, and start working for your company in a regular cap subject H-1B.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I got it.
Okay.
Just wanted to confirm.
Yep,
I got it.
Good,
Thank
good.
you.
Sure. Anybody else have a question? Okay. Awesome. Well, it was nice to meet you all virtually, and I hope that you'll reach out if you have any specific questions. But most importantly, I hope that you figure out the next step on your path, because I know a lot of this can feel stressful and overwhelming at times. All of our fellows have full access to immigration attorneys and a lot of information. So we try really hard to alleviate that stress and anxiety for folks that are in our program. And through quality information, through information sessions like this. We also are launching a new newsletter. So if you're on our website, you can sign up for the newsletter, and we're going to be putting out some opportunities to ask questions to immigration attorneys and get more information about our programming and visa solutions and life hacks in the US for folks that are here. So thank you for joining, and we will stay in touch, hopefully. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Thank you.